The best intro music that we have on this broadcast is right now because, well, it's one of our favorite segments. Jim George is here, the professor of the universe. And let's see, we're on the other side of the holidays, so not so sure you're going to get any questions about how to hook something up. But maybe we'll get some questions about those radio waves from the other planets.
Yeah, never can tell.
That was a cool story, wasn't it?
It was a cool story. Yep.
So there was a couple of technology stories today. Good morning, Jim.
Hello.
First of all, Jim George. So one of the stories was robots in the subway in Tokyo, which I find fascinating. They're 6 feet tall. They're well-dressed. They can speak, I think it's in 4 or 5 languages, and Chinese, Japanese, English, and Korean, I think, were the 4, right? And they are basically there to assist you. Like, say, hey, where's the nearest restroom? It is over there. It is over there. And then there was another one, I guess it was the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, where we now have the first case of a self-driving car hitting an autonomous robot.
That was a pedestrian.
Oh, boy.
It was the pedestrian, and it was destroyed.
Yeah. I guess they couldn't detect heat or whatever it needs to detect to tell if a person was
Wow, look at you. Yeah, you might be right. You're analyzing it already. See, you might be right. That might be why it didn't see the robot there.
Yeah, I mean, never can tell.
So I would want to be crossing the road, like if I was so bundled up that the heat from my body wasn't making it to the car.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, because they said that other cars passed it by with real drivers in it.
Yeah, they avoided. Well, they could see with their eyes, of course, and make a conscious decision to go around, whereas the machine looked at another machine and went, what are you doing there?
Oh,
so what did the robot do? I mean, the robot must have done something wrong, too.
Probably raised his hands and went,
Well, that kind of show is pretty exciting, and you're going to be going to a Consumer Electronics Show in
London.
In London,
Yeah.
and then there's one in Orlando that's coming
Yes,
up.
January 22nd in Orlando. I'll be leaving for that. It's more or less an all day. And then February 22nd. I really like the 22nd. And in London.
That
What's happening in London? What are you actually doing?
So it deals with European content programmers, people who have shows just like we get what's that called? America's Got Talent. They have England's Got Talent, and Russia's Got Talent. So it's content coming from Europe. And then it's also how to, secure the content, and then the technology of how to stream the content. Like if you wanted to watch a Russian programming, maybe, I know you like the Spanish Weather Girl.
I do like the Spanish Weather Girl, yes.
Yeah.
I'm learning Spanish from her, by the way.
That's a great channel, by the way.
Jimmy, I have a phone call. You ready?
Yeah.
Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Hey, how you doing? I was calling to find out. I've been waiting patiently for him to come back on. You said you were offering cable after the new year, and I was calling to see who I could talk to. How do I talk to somebody about that?
Well, right now it's not necessarily ready for prime time. What I mean by that is we're still getting in our set-top converter boxes and putting the software in. But it will probably be made noticed on this channel right around March, April, or May, because we'll have a couple of thousand boxes and then be able to look for guinea pigs like yourself that will say, I want to be the first to get one and test it. And then once everything is perfectly done, around June will be the major launch.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So how does a person like this gentleman get on your list to be one of the people that can test your...
Yeah, we don't really have a list. I mean, we have people that have been asking us forever, just like he's called in and has been hearing. But we're going to launch first inside of Ocala Palms. Because that's a gated community, which means we can do all the testing based on the content, the way their system's put together, the fiber optic system, everything, so we can judge what the bandwidth really is that a person needs to watch a program and so on and so forth. I mean, our technology tells us you need about 1.5 meg to watch a TV program. But in reality, if you had 4 sets in your house and you had a wireless TV that was connected to the Wi-Fi, plus you had your cell phone, plus a laptop, how much bandwidth does a person really need in order to stream safely, in the sense that no breakup, no pixelation, whatever. We think it's somewhere around 10 meg, and just about everybody has 10 meg. But if you had even a dial-up the content has what's called adaptive bit rate. So it senses how poor your connection is and adjusts itself to a lower content so you can still watch TV without locking up.
Oh,
it's a very smart box.
We had a lady on she was calling from the Consumer Electronics Show, and she was talking about the difference between 5G. Sarah, what's her last name? Evans? Yeah. From 5G and 10G, but the G means two different things. I can't remember. I think the 5G is fifth generation.
Fifth generation.
And the 10G is 10 gigabytes.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And it'll change the way a lot of us do a lot of stuff. And I just thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, I talked to a home builder just the other day, and he was wanting to know how much would it cost to, and they're always conscious when you build a home development, how much is the underground conduit, the labor, the street crossings, the fiber, and I said, in about a year, 5G will be such a reality that you don't even need an infrastructure. You do everything wireless.
Oh, my.
Everything. Now, that's, you had mentioned before, will electricity ever become wireless?
Right.
We don't know if that's a valuable play right now, maybe in our lifetime. It could be.
But pretty much everything else, like all of our communications and entertainment and things like that.
Everything be wireless.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Yes, good morning, Jim. See, I've been hearing that they're going to be coming out, if not already, with the K8 TV. What can you tell me about it, and how much better could it be than the K4? I just don't quite understand all that.
Right. So I'm going to turn the volume down. So a high def is 1,000 pixels, you might say. That's why it says 1080 on it. All right.
Oh.
Then when you have the 4K, that's 4,000 pixels. So the size didn't change. Let's say you still had a 55-inch TV. Well, you can see how much more content is crammed into that same size. So everything is real tight. So the picture just looks brilliant. I mean, if you put a normal high def next to a 4K, you could see the color difference. You could see everything, the difference. 8K is just twice what 4K is. And there's actually talk about a 16K coming around. So it looks like it's not going to stop anytime sooner. But at 4K, you can actually do 3D TV. At 8K, it will be 3D TV. So you can see, you could actually take your remote. This sounds weird. It's almost like having an optical illusion or a hologram. And you could look behind an object.
Wow.
Because the cameras are everywhere, like surround sound or IMAX, the cameras being around. So if you wanted to see something, you just move your mouse, or in this case, it's an air mouse. Your remote has an infrared, and you click it, and then you move, and you just move the person out of the way or the subject out of the way to see what's behind it.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Isn't that something?
Let me see if your caller has a follow-up. Do you have a follow-up?
I was just going to say, with the K8, is that going to be much more expensive than the K4 and eventually just fall back down?
Exactly. Yeah. It's very expensive now, but it will drop down.
And then how many years away are we from the K16, whatever that's going to be?
Well, it's only in talks right now. The answer is it's a reality. In other words, maybe the Consumer Electronics Show may even show one, but they're so pushing the 8 right now, I don't think they're going to even mention the 16. We only found out about the 16 through, something called NASA Tech Briefs. So NASA is the person, the ones that do all this high definition stuff, and they have authorized different manufacturers to use the technology to do 16K.
Wow.
Maybe that's why the K4s they're on sale. You go to all these big box stores right now, and hey, my God, they're almost to a point where they're giving the TVs away, maybe because of the K8 coming in, huh?
Right. Yeah, I saw 4K just the other day for $600. I mean, that's what I paid for my 1K, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's all to me. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm shopping for a TV, so I think I'm just going to get a good deal on a K4, and because that picture, as far as I'm concerned, is great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and they're saying the size of the screens are going both directions. They're getting really big and really small. Like I saw one, it's called the breakfast TV. You sit it on your table for breakfast, and they call that one the Special K. but
Oh, gee.
yeah, just
Yeah, I understand.
Like a computer
I understand.
screen?
Yeah, yeah.
just a little, put it on the table while you're eating breakfast and eating
Yeah, yeah.
some kind of cereal. I don't know which kind
Nice.
you prefer.
Cream of wheat.
Yeah, cream of wheat while
Yeah.
watching Special K.
Yeah.
Now, I've got 10 megabytes from CenturyLink, and I called them up and they said I'm not in an area where I can get more than that.
Right.
How much bigger does it get?
Oh, it gets-
Cable companies
Oh,
give
yeah.
you a
I mean,
bigger
I think
choice?
the minimum that, let's say, someone like Comcast wants to give you, or Cox, is like 50 meg. And they love to give you, let's say, 100 meg or more, but you can get 500 meg at your house. But your computer can't handle all that. You know, it's a catch-22. You have to have the right receiver to catch, what's being delivered to you. So right now, your 10 meg is be fine, even if you do the IPTV. If you have one TV set, that will give you about 1 meg to make your system operate, and then 1.5 meg for your TV, leaving you a good 8 meg to use for anything else you want to do, which means you can watch TV, surf the internet at the same time, no problem.
Oh, okay.
But your 10 meg may not be. Are you doing your test with your toast performance and
yeah, Larry
and speed?
Larry
net,
did that
net?
test.
Okay.
One time I did
That
do a
test net
second.
looked
And what did it
okay,
come?
right?
What did it come to be?
I don't remember.
All right.
I did it with the guy on the phone. Remember
Okay,
I told
yep,
you
yep,
this?
yep.
And he then sent me to his own testing, which he felt was more reliable, whatever, and more what it should be. But yeah. What I have a question about is when we're doing our podcasts, we do them at Robin's place.
Yep.
You upload them, and it'll say it's going to take 47 hours to upload it. And then it'll say, we'll be able to do it in 19 minutes. And then it'll say 35 hours. And then it'll go down to 20 minutes. And then it goes back and forth all the time. And it usually is the lower number. That's usually what it ends up being. It's crazy.
Right. So so the internet's two-way, into you and then out of you, from you. So it's receive and send. And everybody normally buys the received value. So if you want 10 meg, you're buying 10 meg of internet. But when you hit return on your computer, that's when the sending takes place. So if you have a 10 by 1, then you can see you're receiving 10 times faster than you're sending. So when you start to get your next internet connection, whether it's through a cable company or through the phone company, see if you can get something that's like a 10 by 4 or a 20 by 5 or something like that. So we offer, Ocala Palms, I'm not an advertising thing, but we can do 10 by 10. 25 by 25.
So you have to ask for that?
You have to ask
for the outgoing speed?
Oh, yeah, they're not going to give it to you because the return is very seldom used by anybody except the operator. Like I'm the operator.
Right.
So I use the return for multiple things. Go out and get,
okay.
I'm sending stuff all the time, same as you're trying to send stuff.
We do it once a week.
So when you have, if you have a cable connection at your place, a Cox or whatever, just say you'd like to have the return to be higher speed.
Just on Thursdays.
And
they charge you more for that.
Well, you can do what's called burstable. So you pay for all the time a 10 by 1, but you'd like to be able to have it burst, for 2 hours a day on Thursday.
That would be awesome.
And that's it. And you just pay for the burst.
Oh my gosh.
And the burst might be $3, so you might get a $3 upcharge.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, I wrote that down. The burst.
Yeah.
Ask for the burst.
So when we buy our 1 gig link, let's say, they'll tell us it's burstable to 1.5. Right? But if you start to sustain 1.5, then we're going to charge you more. So like in your case, if you have 20 meg or 10 meg and you say, I'd like to have it 10 by 2, but burstable to maybe 3 or 4, they'll go, okay. But then they'll send you a letter with a chart on it if you sustain it all the time. In other words, you so like the outgoing being faster.
Oh my gosh.
You're doing everything, and they're going, no, now you have to pay for the higher speed.
Yeah. Well, we do a lot of outgoing here. We're constantly streaming, like right now we're streaming this. So we must have something here.
Well, you're symmetrical here, so you're a 60 by 60.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what you want to do, if you want to record something, just bring it here in the early morning and send it out. Unless you live stream it out.
Yeah. Okay. No, we don't live stream it.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that, actually.
Yeah, you just stream it from here. So you're not really paying. Once you pay for it, 100 people could use it until you saturate the amount that you have. So it makes no difference.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really
You could probably log into your server here and then send it from here without even sending. But still, it's going to take the same amount of time to send it from your house to here. Whereas if you deliver it here,
Right, I was thinking of that too. Use one of those thumb drives
Yep.
or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you go to London on February 22nd, what is your topic going to be? Have you decided on that yet?
well, I'm going as a person to just look and see what the programming has to offer. But I am speaking on United States' streaming capability.
Oh.
In other words, the USDA, is that the correct one, or is it U? It's the Department of Agriculture for they handle all cable TV, all internet.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, so the U.S. government has put them on them. I guess they had more time on their hands, so they said, okay, you do it. I mean, what do you do, watch a tree? Come on.
Yeah, right.
So they're in charge of that. So they're also in charge of what's called rural, RURAL, broadband, getting the internet out to the people who don't have it now. So as you know, by law, let's say, the power companies have to feed you. You could be 10 miles down a dirt road. They got to run all the way down there to feed one person. Well, the internet people weren't forced to do that. The cable TV is not forced to do that. Even in the franchise days, they would say either 40 homes per node. 40 homes per mile is what they have to have before they'll run wire down your road for you. So if there's not 40 homes in a mile near you, they're not going to run down.
Oh, my.
So the U.S. government said, okay, here's the deal. We will pay you to run down there and get that one guy on the end. And the loan is like 1%. So you can borrow like $40 million at 1%. All you have to do is prove you need it. And prove you need it in the sense that it costs $20,000 a mile to run fiber, and this guy is 5 miles away, so you need $100,000 to go down and feed that guy.
Oh, wow.
See?
Gosh.
And then you charge him the same thing you charge the guy that's in downtown Metropolitan, which has 5,000 subscribers. So it's just the way the government is trying to level the playing field, make sure everybody can get an internet connection. And then you hear people like Japan and other people argue with us and say, you're so far behind us. We have 100% saturation. Well, look at the size of Japan compared to the size of America.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah.
But and they have 5G. They already have wireless connection everywhere. So you can go to the mountain Fuji and get the internet.
Wow.
So do we have some cities that are 100% saturated?
We do, yeah.
I would think so.
But there again, and when you say a city, let's assume you say the city of Ocala. Where does there might be a road or two that doesn't have good coverage. Because it's a road that just no one went down to connect it.
Right.
That's where 5G comes in. 5G is going to make a level playing field. You can download a movie like Gone with the Wind on your cell phone in maybe 1 minute.
Oh, my gosh.
You just turn it
So
on.
explain the 10G, because I guess this is why I brought it up in the first place. I don't quite understand what 10 gig will mean for us as
All right.
as
Well,
consumers.
the city of Ocala has a fiber optic network, and all their switches and all their routers and everything were 1 gig. So the maximum throughput they could do would be 1 gig. Well, they changed them out a while back to 10 gig, so that now the maximum throughput.
Oh, so we've had 10 for a while now.
We've had it for about maybe a year to 2 years right now.
Okay.
Well, the city of Gainesville is 40 gig.
Oh, my.
So they changed out all their 10 gig stuff. Remember, the fiber's still fiber. It's just you change the transmitter receivers, which in this case is a server and a switch. They changed them out. They changed everything out to 40. So we're at 10. But the city operates actually, I think, on something like 2 gig. There was a whole city. Even what's feeding you from the city is only 2 gig. But remember, you're never really on the internet till you hit enter. Then it either sends out or it receives. So if you type in WOCA.com, you're not on the internet. Then you hit enter, you're on it. And then it goes, grabs it, brings it in. Okay, you're off.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's that little burstable. So we call it packets. Packets of information keep getting sent.
Do you know, there was a story this morning about the smart technology at Facebook, which censors out inappropriate images. And so what it looks for is nude type of color, I guess. I don't know how they do this. So you know that little plastic baby they put into the Mardi Gras cake, the king cake?
Oh yeah, the king cake.
Okay, so people are posting photos of the little plastic baby, and Facebook is saying not acceptable because of nudity, which means that nobody's actually looking at the photos. It's all a computer making that decision.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Well, you need to get a hold of Facebook and ask them, can those images just be forwarded to you, and you'll look at them and see if they're appropriate. No,
there you go. We'll have the club there, the image club.
I understand. Well, the computer's good for a lot of stuff, artificial intelligence, but some things it's not good. You have to have the human eye.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They ask you, would you like to have a state-of-the-art robot operate on you? or a person operate on you.
Oh, yeah, right.
And, even though that computer is so smart and knows, I don't think I really want that.
Oh, it's a story.
What if it hiccups and cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts? Come on.
All right, here's one. Here's another one. A defense contractor wants to study insect brains. Because human brains have 100 billion neurons. Insect brains have about 1,000 neurons. So they're saying that with 1,000 neurons, they can effectively control a fly or a grasshopper, and they want to be able to make something with artificial intelligence that can be that small.
Yeah.
Meaning, I guess we're going to start using, and this was, I don't know if this is happening already or if it's just in the movies. Like a fly is flying around the office, and it's really a spy.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
My.
I don't know if is that real yet, or is that just?
It's close. It's very close. Yeah. No. The microscopacy, how small they can get things is unbelievable. There's all kind of stories like during World War II where, we sent, Germany sent us a filament so small it took a microscope just to look at the filament, like a string.
Oh, really?
Or a piece of hair, and we sent it back with a hole in it to show the technology.
Oh.
The technology is just unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's what they used to, magicians used to make a dollar bill float.
Could be.
Well, we're so lucky to have you, Jim, because you always enlighten us with stuff. You're super smart, and you're very much appreciated throughout the industry.
I just read too much. I got time on my hands, I guess. I get all these NASA tech briefs and all these tech learning. So the higher education, like college and such, they have their own magazines.
Oh.
So I think they call it AHECTA, AHECTA, the American Higher Education Telecommunication Association. Mm-hmm. And so all the colleges write about all the technology. And I get that magazine. It's a free magazine.
Yeah.
But it tells you what's going on at every university, what they're studying, who they're doing it for, everything.
Uh-huh.
So when you go to London, I have a story for you. There was a nurse here in Ocala that went to London, and she works at the doctor's office here, and she brought back some European almonds, and she brought them back to the doctor's office. And at that same time, there was a guy, and he was at the doctor because he was having pain when he went to the bathroom. And so he was sitting he had the exam, and he's waiting for the doctor to tell him what's wrong. And the doctor went out into the office and said, "Hey, Sally, you're back." She's, "Yeah, hey, try some of these European almonds." So he's eating one. It's good. So he goes back with his clipboard, and he's talking to the patient, and he's going, And the patient goes, "What's the matter?" He goes, "European almonds." He goes, "Oh, no wonder it's so painful."
Oh, gee.
That would do it.
Oh, gee, you're sucking me into that for a
And I thought
moment.
you could use this joke.
Oh, yeah, no, European.
Like when you're on the stage in London.
No, I don't think so.
Not going to use my joke. What's the matter with
I
everyone?
tell you, that's why I understand
wants to use
you
my
and
jokes.
Galen have a little words every so often.
So how do we get a hold of you? What's a good number?
Certainly. Well, it's 854-9795.
Thank you. Have a great
Another
weekend.
beautiful day. So no rain today?
No, doesn't look like it. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful, cool day. Look, Sears sign is down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sears sign is down.
And the funny thing about it, next week it could be back up. You never know.
It could be. I know. All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The Trump administration is looking into using unspent natural disaster aid and prevention money to pay for a southern border wall.
If we don't make a deal with Congress, most likely I will.